Your mic's open.
Ready?
You ready?
Yeah, we're
The
ready.
mic is open.
Yes, I know.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your patience with our whole situation here. So I'm going to call the meeting to order. Thank you all for being here. We're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and in the interest of something, I'll lead us, okay? Please stand. Place your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I don't think they hear us.
No?
You don't think they're hearing us?
Did you all hear us? Anybody hear us? Okay. All right. Can people hear me? Say yes or nod? No? Nobody's hearing me.
Commissioners, are you able to hear me?
Elaine's muted. Everybody's muted.
Commissioners, are you able to hear me? Unmute. Down below, unmute. Commissioners, are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I see some nods.
Yes? Is that a yes? Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's now do the roll call.
Should we do the Pledge of Allegiance again since it wasn't?
Should we do the Pledge of Allegiance again? It doesn't hurt. What do you say?
I thought you just tell them we did.
We did do the Pledge of Allegiance. If anybody would like to do it again, please nod your head. I don't.
Put me on.
And Mr. Curtis is saying yes, he wants to do it again, correct? All right, let's do it again. All right, let's stand. Place your hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
You can
Oh,
put me
good.
back to.
Okay, so here we are. We should do the roll call now.
Commissioner Freeman,
Put me out there. as
Commissioner Parks,
lab and then back as
here. Commissioner Parvin,
no. anyway.
here.
Yeah.
Commissioner Rooney,
Here.
Commissioner Ross,
Present.
Commissioner Zaragoza,
Here.
Chair Ramirez,
I'm here.
Alternate Commissioner Bill de la Pena,
Present.
Alternate Commissioner Richards,
Here.
Alternate Commissioner Curtis,
Okay, very good. Thank you very much.
Commissioner,
Was there a comment? No?
I was just saying that Commissioner Parks is here too.
Yeah, we do see you, Commissioner Parks.
my apologies.
I know you're here. Okay. So the next item is agenda review. We have a very short agenda this time, correct, Mr. Loma? Yes,
Yeah, it's a very short agenda. No changes are
no changes.
recommended.
Anyone want to, by majority vote, amend, change, revise the agenda? Okay, I see shaking of heads. This is then the time for public comment. Do we have any members of the public who've let us know they'd like to make a comment? There's one person in the audience, but I don't think he's got a comment, correct? All right. No members of the public, all right. Okay.
Chair Ramirez.
Commissioner Rooney, yes.
So we received a notice from one of the constituents about public comments. So I'm wondering, can we address it at this time, or are you going to read that into the record, or what's the plan?
That was specific to agenda item number 7, the budget. And we won't read it into the record, but it has been introduced into the record because we did provide it to you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yes, Commissioner
I
Rooney.
guess my question goes more toward, as I read it, I don't have it here in front of me, but as I read it, she felt like she had submitted it in timely and everything, and it was not read into it. So I'm wondering if there's a way we can correct any oversight that we did for the future and for other community members.
Right, the comments were addressed to me, and she gave no indication that they were intended to be shared with the commission. That's why we didn't the first time. However, she then clarified that she had intended to give that to the commission, so that's why we did forward her most recent comments and the previous comments. There were no concerns specifically with the budget. The concerns were more with the Piru Cemetery District, so they were a little bit off topic as well.
Okay, thank you very much. So without hearing any members of the public wanting to comment, we'll go on to consent calendar. Consent item is the minutes from the last meeting, May 20th. The recommended action is approval. Do any of commissioners have any? Who was that?
Second,
All right.
Zaragoza.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch who made those motions. Did you catch it?
I made the motion.
And Zaragoza second.
Okay, thank you. Too quick for me. All right. So let's have a roll call vote, correct? Thank you, Ms. Beltran.
Commissioner Freeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Parks,
Yes.
Commissioner Parvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Rooney,
Yes.
Commissioner Ross,
Yes.
Commissioner Zaragoza,
Yes.
Chair Ramirez.
Yes. Okay, thank you very much. We'll go on to the public hearing item, which is the LAFCo recommended budget for fiscal year 2020-21. And the recommendation is to adopt the attached resolution to your agenda, approving the recommended final budget for fiscal year 2021, directing staff to transmit the final budget to the county, each city, and each independent special district. So, Mr. Long.
Great, thank you, Madam Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. This is Agenda Item 7. It's the recommended final budget for fiscal year 2021. And as you know, LAFCo law does provide that the Commission should adopt a proposed budget by May 1st. That budget was adopted May 20th by the Commission, and that LAFCo should adopt a final budget by June 15th. I just want to state that the proposed or the recommended final budget is no different from the proposed budget that the Commission approved last month. So I'm going to start off, and I'm also not going to go into the detail that I did when I presented the budget last month because, as I mentioned, it is the same budget. So I'm just going to do a brief review. I'll start with the current year's budgets in review, and we'll start with expenditures. So as I mentioned last time, the budget was adjusted in February. So I'm going to be comparing the projected budget with the adjusted budget in that second column there. So for total salaries and benefits, the adjusted budget estimated expenditures of $611,450. We're projecting $606,450 for a savings of $5,000. For total services and supplies, the adjusted budget allocated $168,300. We're projecting spending $142,961 for an estimated savings of $25,339. And regarding contingencies, the adjusted budget has $50,475 in contingencies. We don't anticipate spending any of that, so the savings there would be $50,475. So down the right-hand corner, the total expenditures, there's going to be an estimated savings of about $80,814. Regarding revenue, we'll start with interest earnings. The adopted budget estimated receiving $8,000 in interest earnings. We are projecting earning $14,000 for an increase of $6,000. Regarding other revenue, primarily from fees, the adopted budget estimated $15,000. However, we are projecting $7,800 for a loss of $7,200. Other governmental agencies, we received what was adopted, $657,225, so that's a wash. So when all those are added up, we are looking at a total revenue deficit of $1,200. So when we combine the projected expenditure savings of $80,814 with the projected revenue deficit of $1,200, we are projecting a fund balance of $79,614 at the end of this fiscal year. Now, I just want to go over the recommended final budget. Again, these are divided into three categories: salary and employee benefits, services and supplies, and contingencies. And this table shows the adjusted proposed budget for each of those categories, and then the recommended final budget, which is under the proposed there. So for total salaries and benefits, the current year's adjusted budget was $611,450. We are recommending an increase to that to $631,600. That represents an increase of $20,150. For services and supplies, the adjusted amount is $168,300. We are recommending an increase to $185,000. That's an increase of $16,700. Regarding contingency, we are recommending a decrease from $50,475 to $40,830, which is a decrease of $9,645. So in total, we are recommending that the current or the next year's budget be an increase to the current year's budget of $27,205. This represents a 3.3 increase over the current year's adopted budget. And we are recommending the use of $125,000 in projected unassigned fund balance for the next fiscal year. And that's in order to reduce the amount of funding from our funding agencies. Okay, financing sources. Again, there's three of them: fund balance, miscellaneous revenue, which is interest, earnings, and fees, and then revenue from our funding agencies. And here, this table incorporates all three of those. We will focus on that first column and the third column. So regarding the appropriation of fund balance, the commission appropriated $150,000 for the current year budget. We are recommending a reduction to $125,000 for the next fiscal year. Regarding miscellaneous revenue, the adopted budget, $8,000. We are proposing or anticipating $8,000 for next fiscal year. Regarding application fees, the adopted budget is $15,000. We are proposing in the recommended final budget an estimate of $6,000, and this brings the total miscellaneous revenue to $14,000. Regarding other governmental agencies, the current adopted budget, $657,225 total. We're recommending an increase to $718,431. So again, at that bottom line there, that shows the approximately $27,000 increase from the proposed next fiscal year's budget to the current fiscal year budget. And with that, the recommendation is that the commission adopt a resolution approving the recommended final budget for 2020-21. I just want to inform you about the public notices that we did provide for the final budget. The public notice for the final budget was originally published on April 26. The proposed budget that was approved by the commission last month on May 20th was transmitted to the county, cities, and the independent special districts the following day on May 21st. The recommended final budget, this recommended final budget, was transmitted to the county, cities, and the special districts on June 4th. And to date, we've received no comments from any of these funding agencies. The only comment that we have received was from Teresa Jordan, as already mentioned. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, we have no public comment on this item. And so I'll ask that if there are commissioner comments at this time. Raise your hand if you have a comment. Okay, I see Commissioner Rooney and then Commissioner Richards. Commissioner Rooney?
Yes, thank you. Mr. Loma, I believe that the Oxnard Harbor District made a comment regarding the budget. Did you not receive any notices or a letter or email?
No, I've received nothing, and we've been monitoring. We have not received anything.
Okay, I'll check on it. Thank
Okay.
you. They were going to comment on it, so let me check on it.
Okay.
Commissioner Richards?
Was that collab?
When did it go out? I heard June
What?
4th or May 21st.
I was just asking if the comment letter was from collab.
I'm talking about the Oxnard Harbor District.
Oh, the Harbor District?
Yeah, that's what I had commented.
Commissioner Richards, you wanted to say something?
Kai, within your report, you identified that the state controller was using numbers from fiscal year 2017, 2018, and those were potentially going to be revised. Did you receive new numbers or?
We have a member of the Auditor Controller's Office in the audience, and he indicated that we have not received updated numbers.
Okay. I had another question, if I can find it. It's located on page 21 of your report, and it refers to unappropriated and unassigned fund balance, which is currently $368,394. Where is that in the budget, and how is it identified? I just found it was difficult to try to put the number in association with any of your columns. So could you explain where the $368,694 is located in the budget? How is it
Sure.
identified?
Yeah, if you turn to page 29 of the packet, page 16 of the staff report.
Okay, I'm there.
Okay, you'll see the graph, the table on the bottom.
Yes.
Okay, so that is where we get that number from. I can explain that a little bit. So the appropriated fund balance, there's assigned, committed, and unassigned. So like for this fiscal year, you'll see that first column, actual fund balance, June 30th of 19. The commission appropriated $150,000 for the current budget. There was $100,000 committed to a litigation fund, and that's consistent with commission policies. Then the commission policy states that there should be 60 days working capital set aside. And that's where you have $111,146, but it's considered unassigned. You'll see it's in the unassigned category. And this left us, after those amounts were allocated to those uses, that left us an unassigned fund balance. Just this was extra revenue left over of $257,548. Now, when you combine those two unassigned categories, you end up with a total unassigned of $368,694. So that's where that number comes from.
Is that where the interest is accumulated from?
Yes, it is.
Thank you, Kai.
Other commissioners have questions? I see Commissioner Zaragoza.
Madam Chair, and I know that probably some other discussion, but I remember back in May, we discussed this budget pretty thoroughly, and one of the things that we wanted to find out was any agencies had any concerns with the budget. Apparently, there's none. Maybe over at the port, maybe they have not responded yet, but I think it's a good budget. You know, we have a $80,000 savings, and if subject to other people sharing anything, I'd like to make a motion to approve.
Is there a second to that? Is there a second? I don't see it. Commissioner Rooney, are you seconding? Yes, thank you. All right, so we have, unless there's any further discussion, we'll go ahead and have a roll call vote.
Commissioner Freeman. Commissioner Parks.
Yes.
Commissioner Parvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Rooney.
Yes.
Commissioner Ross.
Yes.
Commissioner Zaragoza.
Yes.
Chair Ramirez.
Yes. Okay, so we finished the main item on our agenda. The next, and thank you very much. I want to just say that budgets are a plan. Plans can be changed if there's need. That's true for all of us at the cities and our districts. So we're keeping our fingers crossed that things will go better So the next is the executive officer's report.
Madam Chair,
Yes? Who was that?
Madam Chair, I just wanted to commend staff, for an excellent budget. And as mentioned earlier, that budget is a roadmap, and potentially in mid-year, we can adjust it accordingly, and depending on where we stand with the COVID-19, excuse me. But I just want to commend staff for an excellent budget. And thank you for a lot of good work and a lot of good questions by the board too.
Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Zaragoza. I concur with that. So now we'll go on, unless anyone has other comments, we'll go on to executive officer's report.
Really, just the next commission meeting is scheduled for July 15th. Today, we are going to be meeting with staff from the city of Santa Paula who will be submitting an application. It's a reorganization for a rather significant business park on the west side of town. So that will be coming before you later this year. And then at some time this week, we're also expecting to meet with staff from Thousand Oaks who are also submitting an application for an annexation. So we've been in talks with the city of Fillmore, and they are working on submitting another application for an annexation here in the near future. So those are items to come at some point. I did not provide you a memo regarding tentative dates because we just haven't. They weren't submitted when the staff reports went out. So that concludes my my report. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for our director?
Chair Ramirez?
Yes.
I was seeing that we did get a report back, a written report that discussed the effort by the Port District to be able to harvest mussels. And sorry to see that the legislation was not taken up.
Thank you. Other comments?
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Kai, and I'm sure that our Supervisor Parks also knows this, that we are going to be opening the government center here Monday, come Monday. And one of the things that I mentioned to our board was that potentially all the other agencies, probably like LAFCo and the other agencies that meet APCD are going to be able to now come over live and sit right at the dais. Again, one of the things that they're showing is that some members that would not want to come to the dais can also Zoom, and also potentially we could use our mask, and also the temperatures are going to be taken. Supervisor Parks, did I miss anything there from Monday?
No, I think you got it all. We have that option to continue to Zoom.
Yeah, so anyway, so I think a lot of the agencies are going to be now open to come in at the board, that use our board, and I'm sure that potentially other agencies are going to do the same. But I just wanted to share that, that we're going to be doing that. And also one thing that's not part of LAFCo, and I see this young lady right in the middle of the screen. I just want to share this because it's so important. Over in Island Acres, I represent that area. And Marianne and Mike Barber are doing an excellent job and handing out food out to the community. Last Saturday, they had hundreds and hundreds of cars, and they get hundreds of boxes of food to our residents. A lot of people are doing that, but I just want to commend the Nyland Promise for doing such a great job in Island Acres. And I know it's not part of the LAFCo, however, it's important that I share that to everybody that I talk to. And thank you, Marianne and Mike Barber. And we have the comadres and compadres. And Marianne, what is a comadre? What's a compadre?
Yeah, so it's like that trusted person, that godparent, that you call and trust upon and everything. That we have a great group of volunteers. Thank you, Supervisor Zaragoza. I do want to say that Santa is helping the community once again, and we are having free internet that's beaming across the freeway. Absolutely. From the Rio School District to Santa. And then Santa will be distributing the internet signal throughout the entire Nyland Acres community. So all of the children within the Rio School District are going to be receiving free internet for the first time, so they can continue on their studies. And then we are still working to try to extend that internet to the entire community because it's really important to connect everybody to it. So we're having fun. Appreciate everybody who's supported. Food Share has been doing an amazing job. We just received another grant, excuse me, No Kid Hungry just granted us $25,000 to keep feeding our folks. So we're very happy about that.
And I understand too I'm sorry for taking so much time, but with the free internet, I understand that they already have tablets for their homework, for the kids to be working from their homes, and that's been provided by the Rio School District in conjunction with the Nyland Promise and the people in El Rio. My apologies for sharing that in LAFCo, but I think it's important.
Supervisor Zaragoza, Mary Ann Rooney, the community of Somas has been very desirous of getting high-speed broadband, and even in that school, and have not been successful. So any suggestions, we'd love to hear.
I would be happy to talk to anybody. Just give me a call and we'll share with you kind of some of our strategies. I think it's critical that we have internet for everybody,
That's right.
and that's just
And
like
Dr.
another utility, right?
And the superintendent there in Rio, Dr. Pragusi, is really instrumental in working with Mary Ann and also with Mike Barber. And it's a good.
The other thing I do want to mention is that where the first beam comes across the freeway to Santa, that will beam out. There'll be a receiver on the community center on Santa Clara. We're putting another receiver on one of the mutual water companies that's here in the neighborhood, and another receiver down at the other end. So it kind of blankets and fans out, so everybody has a high-speed connection. And the Rio School District, I got to tell you, they have been, frankly, amazing to pull all this together. So stay tuned, more to come.
Board members, thank you for letting me share. Thank you.
Thank you very much. A little bit off topic of our LAFCo agenda, but very welcome in this time of need in our community. And I'd encourage anybody who wants to know more to get in touch with Mary Ann and let us know. I will be reaching out to you. Thank you so much for great work. Any other commissioner comments at this time? Okay, well, my only comment is please stay safe. We're not out of the woods yet by any means, and we have to not let our guard down and keep wearing your mask. Nobody could see me, but I have my mask here and my sanitizer, and we have to, get back up again. Keep your minds and hearts open for the things that our country's going through on many fronts. So with that, unless there's any other comments, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Sanitizing. I don't want to pollute this for the supervisors. Okay. Very good.
One of them showed, only